Good evening and welcome to our webinar, Eat Well, Live Well. My name is Julie Mohajer. I'm a wellness educator and very passionate person about health and nutrition, and thrilled that you've joined us tonight to hear really what has become my 17-year journey studying nutrition and teaching it, and just what I have been able to learn and live out loud with my own family. I'm very passionate about paying that forward and helping other individuals and families have the healthy lifestyle that I've been able to obtain. I feel really blessed that I learned what I did before I had kids. This is what, for years, my daughters, who, when I started doing this talk, were 2 and 4, they've called it my good food speech. And it really is, in some ways, just that, what we've learned about health and nutrition. This is a picture of my family. They really are my why. I mean, I cannot control the days that we're on earth, but I do feel like I can control how healthy we are each day that we're here. And that's why I do what I do, is to keep these loved ones in this picture as healthy as possible. My husband, Terry, is the athletic director at Arkansas State University. Our children, Maria's on the far right. She's 15, Molly's 13, and Marco's 8. We live an incredibly full lifestyle, super busy with everything at the university, and with 3 children, as many of you live very similar busy lifestyles. So what I have to share with you tonight is applicable. It's what I've studied and learned and been able to implement for my own family. I was a lifelong dancer, thought I knew a ton about my body, but 18 years ago, my entire life journey took a total shift. And I was humbled to find myself chronically sick on antibiotics 6 times a year with chronic sinus infections, then later was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. But I'm thrilled today to tell you at age 42, I am healthier than I was at 25. And it's been a remarkable journey to have the quality of life I have today with the health challenges that I have. Has been amazing. And that's why I love sharing this with anyone who wants to listen. I'm going to cover tonight kind of 4 core areas of health, but primarily focused on the top 2, healthy eating and drinking water. Those are 2 things that I feel like I've been able to master over the last 17, 18 years. And the bottom 2 are still a work in progress for me, if I'm being completely transparent. Sleep, I'm a hypocrite on this one. I love everything that I get to do in my life, and sleep is the one thing then that I don't have time for. Working out is something that comes and goes, to be honest, and it's something I need to be better and more disciplined about. But the top 2 are what I've studied the most about and what I have to share with you this evening. I believe these are our choices most days in America. And too often we're choosing that road to the left. And I hope after everything I share with you tonight, you will choose that road less traveled to the right, because it is truly the power of produce and eating more real food that is the foundation for your health. Our children are a huge passion of mine. Having 3 children of my own, I dream of the day that the headlines on magazines tell a much different story. That article on the bottom right crossed my desk when I was pregnant with my oldest. It says, when we grow up, one of us will get cancer. Well, actually, the statistics today, every child born after the year 2000, 1 in 3 will have cancer, 1 in 2 will have heart disease, and 1 in 3 will be diabetic. At that time, we hoped to be blessed with 3 or 4 children, and the thought of lining my own kids up and saying, which one's going to have cancer, and who's going to have heart disease, and who will be the diabetic, really stopped me in my tracks. And what we see now on some of the other headlines, Super Size America and Generation XL, although they are comical, it is really sad, the statistics that our children are facing today in America. Dr. David Katz says children are actually harmed more by poor diet than by exposure to alcohol, drugs, and tobacco combined. And it's the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. These are the things that I really do hope to change. And what we find is that actual healthcare reform starts in your kitchen, not in Washington. We can't point fingers and blame too many people, or we can't expect them to help us. We really can take so much into control in our own kitchens. And it comes down to this statement by Ann Wigmore: the food you eat can be either the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. I know a doctor one day said it's like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. It is still going to go down. You know, so many Americans, we go to the doctor, we think we have these great screenings and that all of our numbers look, quote, normal. But at the cellular level, the damage that we're doing because of our food choices or lifestyle and stress and so many other things, it's wreaking havoc on us. And it's not going to stay okay forever if we stay down that path. So I love what I've learned about nutrition. Dr. William Sears even says over 70% of disease is preventable through good nutrition. And this Time magazine article, Why Your DNA is Not Your Destiny. I meet people all the time who say, well, I'm doomed. You know, this disease runs in my family and I'm predisposed to this genetically. And yes, some people are set up with a tougher road. But there's a whole new field of science now called epigenetics, where they're studying that environmental factors like diet, stress, and even prenatal nutrition imprints on the genes that passes from one generation to the next. Now, if there are any women on the phone who are pregnant or have children, I do not want anyone to have any more mom guilt than they already have. So don't think about it too much. But for those who have yet to be pregnant or pass on genes, it's really what science is showing. It starts at that prenatal stage, what is imprinted on our genes, which is awesome for those who can change that and what we can share education-wise with our children to hopefully change some of that too. This Kathy comic strip, I think, sums up how I hope to have everyone shift their thinking. It says, burger then, burger now, fries then, fries now. It goes down the list. She said, my body was my temple. Now it's my McMansion. And I think if we start thinking of our body as a temple and a gift, you know, I love talking to high school boys and I'll tell them, you know, what's your dream car? If you could have any car in the world, what would it be? And then I tell them, you know, if they could have that tomorrow, how would they treat it? And typically they're not going to put water in the gas tank because we know that's not the right fuel for a car. And then I tell them that car has to last them the rest of their life. Well, that's kind of like our bodies. It's a prime, very premier engine. And yet we're not putting the right fuel in it and we're not taking care of it the way that it should be taken care of, especially to last a lifetime. And you can't expect, as this says, to look like $1 million if you eat from the dollar menu. I believe there are too many people, though, counting calories. It's so much about weight loss or how you look, and not enough people counting chemicals. And I'm here today, as I mentioned earlier, to tell you that at age 42, I am healthier, but I'm also 2 sizes smaller than I was on a college dance team in my early to mid 20s. So it's not about necessarily all the calorie counting as it is about cleaning out your diet, eating real food, and let your body actually function in optimal ways. There are the realities of packaged foods, and I love sharing this program by Dr. David Katz called Nutrition Detectives. This was a program he designed for elementary school kids, and for any teachers on the line tonight or anyone who works in schools, this is actually something that you can access from his website. He has all kinds of curriculum, but I want to teach these clues because I think they apply to all of us. There are 5 things he teaches to become supermarket spies and to start choosing healthier foods over others when it comes to packaged foods. The first clue is not be fooled by the big letters on the front of the package, but look for the label on the back instead. Everything on the package is actually just marketing. It's advertising. The only truth is in the ingredient list and the nutrition facts on the very back. The second clue is that the first ingredient's always the biggest. And that's really true. You see sugar is one of the top 3 ingredients, and you're going to know that that's probably not the healthiest alternative for you to be choosing. But I do like to teach that there is a divide and conquer strategy that food manufacturers are using. So they will use up to 9 different forms of sugar so they can list them lower in the label ingredients, and you don't have to quickly see how much sugar is hiding in that product. But there's a conversion rate that I'm going to teach you too that shows visually, mentally, how much sugar is hiding in the food. So with this, you do see that high fructose corn syrup, which is fake sugar, is the second ingredient in this orange Fanta soda. But every label has the sugar grams on there, and you can see here it's 74 grams of sugar. When you divide that by 4, and that's the comparison, 4 grams is equal to a teaspoon. It helps give you a visual picture of how much sugar is hiding in it. And here you'll see there's 18 teaspoons of sugar in this one Fanta soda. The thing that rocked my world was I used to take a small, low-fat, healthy, I thought, yogurt to work every day. Well, there were 8 teaspoons of sugar in my one thing of yogurt. It actually was identical to my Breyers ice cream that was in my freezer, except the Breyers ice cream was actually healthier for me than that yogurt was. That third clue, to avoid hydrogenated oil and high fructose corn syrup, that yogurt I was having had high fructose corn syrup as well as food dyes in it. And that's the third thing I like to add to that clue number 3. I like to teach kids hydrogenated oil and high fructose corn syrup. So it's the 2 H words that children and even adults can look for on labels, but also any color and number. So red 40, or it'll say blue or yellow and it'll have a number like 5 or 2. Anytime there's a color and a number in a label, that is a manufactured food dye. It's going to affect a lot of behavior for a lot of people. It's also going to weaken the immune system. So those are things that Dr. Katz calls suspicious characters in the crowd. And I want to show you that this Healthy Choice microwave popcorn on the front of this package actually has a huge yellow banner that says 0 grams trans fat. But if you look on the back here, hydrogenated oil is the third ingredient, which is trans fat, and then you see the asterisk, and it says adds a trivial amount of saturated fat and trans fat. Well, it's still to the left, says trans fat 0 grams, and on the front it does, because the FDA said if there was less than half a gram per serving, they could claim 0 grams of trans fat. But there is truly no trivial amount of trans fat. That's why it's been banned in Europe for years. Dr. Bruce Enig from the University of Maryland has said there is no safe amount of trans fat. And so I wish that the United States would actually ban it the way other countries have. But I can teach you and encourage you to try to look for products that are falsely marketing 0 grams trans fat. And if you look in the ingredients and there's hydrogenated oil, then that's something, as Dr. Katz says, put the box down, step away from the package, and no one will be hurt. That's how you can become a supermarket spy and learn these things. For those who are curious, why is hydrogenated oil bad for me? Why is high fructose corn syrup bad for me? The hydrogenated oil actually increases your bad cholesterol and decreases your good. It's also a known carcinogen. The high fructose corn syrup is not recognized by your body. So when you eat real sugar, your body releases a hormone that gives you a full feeling, but your body doesn't recognize the high fructose corn syrup. So it's a leading cause they're finding today of obesity and diabetes because it promotes the cravings and it leads to overeating. The fourth clue, to avoid foods with a long ingredient list, clearly things that are shorter ingredient list. One of my favorite snack bars is called a Larabar, Larabar, and they have all different flavors, and literally they have like 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients, and you would know every single one. It's like apples, cinnamon, and raisins, and walnuts, and that's it, that's in these bars. So you want to look for foods that have shorter ingredient lists. And then the fifth clue is that fiber is your friend, and there are a lot of what he calls whole grain imposters out there. They are marketed as being a great source of fiber, but they truly have less than 1 gram or even 0 grams of fiber because they've been processed and stripped down. So what should you focus on consuming? This is the government's new recommendation. It is a plate visual instead of what many of us learned in school years ago as the food pyramid. And I do love this plate. The one thing I would change is the dairy. I would change that to a big glass of water and focus everyone's energy on drinking more water every day. The fruits and vegetables being half the plate is the most beautiful visual you could have. Every time you sit down to think, is half my plate covered with fruits and vegetables? And that's what you want to strive for. and then you have your grains and your protein. The reason why is what science is proving and showing now to be so beneficial from produce, and just the wallop of nutrients that you get from fruits and vegetables. I love sharing this chart. It's from a book called The China Study. It's one of the longest studies done on the human population compared to in nutritional settings. It was done by Dr. T. Colin Campbell. And in this comparison, they're looking at 100 calories of broccoli, romaine lettuce, and kale versus 100 calories of sirloin steak. Traditionally, how I was raised, if you look down the left at the different nutrients, the first and the third one, the protein and iron, you would think that the sirloin steak would by far be the best source of those nutrients. But if you see in this chart, calorie for calorie, it doesn't even come close. It's not even half the protein that you find in 100 calories of broccoli, and it's not even a tenth of the iron that you find in romaine lettuce. And it goes down the entire list. You see the only one that sirloin steak beats out calorie for calorie, the greens, it ties with romaine lettuce for the zinc. The other area that I want to show you, you see the big zeros on vitamin E and vitamin C, and also then on fiber. There's none in the sirloin steak. But one of the most important sections on here is about a third of the way down, the phytochemicals and antioxidants. They are found in very high levels in all of the produce and absolutely none in the sirloin steak. And I have a little quick science lesson on this to explain, if you've never heard those terms, antioxidants or phytochemicals, the importance of them. Our body, I kind of related earlier to a car. If you think of it as an engine, and your body has an exhaust system, and that really is what they call free radicals. So everyday living causes this free radical damage and oxidative stress. You see the picture of the normal cell on the left, and then the cell being attacked by free radicals in the middle. And on the far right, that is a cell with oxidative stress that has been altered. Oxidative stress shows up different in the body. It shows up in the brain as Alzheimer's, or in the eyes as macular degeneration, or in the skin as wrinkles. You see the woman's picture down on the far right. There are different things that cause more oxidative stress than others. For instance, smoking. If you know anyone, or maybe you personally smoke, you may notice that you have more wrinkles on your hands or on your face from that smoke. It's added oxidative stress. Well, the antioxidants from fruits and vegetables, that's the only place they're naturally found, actually neutralize that free radical damage and protect your cells. So that's where it gets its name, anti-against oxidation. For instance, the apple on the left, you see it's been cut in half. Well, the left-hand side was oxidized. It was exposed to the air. The right-hand side was drizzled with lemon juice, which is loaded with antioxidants, and it actually protected that apple from the oxidation. Well, that's what happens in the body. Every fruit and vegetable you eat, the antioxidants in them build a shield around all of your cells. And so it helps protect from the natural free radical damage that's going to happen every day. Your normal everyday living causes it. If you exercise, which I want to encourage you to do, but exercise causes more oxidative stress. You can think logically of your engine burning harder. You're going to have more exhaust coming off from it. So you want your nutritional intake to match whatever physical activity you have. So many athletes I know think, well, I've worked out 2-3 hours today. I can eat whatever I want. Well, at the cellular level, their cells are screaming for protection and healing. And by eating more fruits and vegetables, they're going to have more and better recovery, which will in turn improve their performance too. Even the American Cancer Society now says, reduce your risk. And it's a poster of 30 beautiful fruits and vegetables. I remember when I was a child, they had the marketing campaigns for early detection. It was all about screenings and detection. And now the science is proving so powerful about produce that it's reduce your risk. Time magazine also has been quoted saying the news isn't that fruits and vegetables are good for you, it's that they're so good for you they could actually save your life. And this headline, grant yourself immunity, says your diet is your best defense. This is truly what I've experienced in my journey the last 18 years. because I have improved my immune system so much. And it's by really flooding my body with fruits and vegetables. And this article talks about the variety is so important and all the colors. I like to teach kids when I go into schools, you want to have a rainbow of colors every day, but not from Skittles, but actual, red strawberries and green broccoli and all the different colors that your body knows what to do with. The fact is the government has spent billions trying to find a cure for heart disease and cancer and other diseases, and the conclusion is it's easier to prevent than it is to cure. The recommendation is to eat 9 to 13 servings of fresh, raw fruits and vegetables every day. I have a friend in Florida who says you'd have to be a stay-at-home vegetarian to actually accomplish that goal every day, and it is a challenge for a lot of people. And a lot of people are asking, well, what happened to the 5-a-day campaign? Well, you remember it was 5 a day, then 5 to 9, and they've gradually increased it. Well, our produce today is not what it was years ago. This is just an example from 1954 to 2003 that the level of iron in 1 cup of spinach from 54, you would have to eat 60 cups of spinach in 2003. This is from the book Empty Harvest by Dr. Jensen, and it's just outlining, our soil is more depleted. The produce today is not what it was years ago, and you definitely have to take that into account. Also, just the research proving all the benefits of fruits and vegetables, they truly say you can't get enough, even if you're eating a ton of them. Again, the recommendation serving size now is 9 to 13, and the problem is that almost no one does it. Many people turn to vitamin supplementation. That's what I know as I was growing up was kind of the quick go-to to bridge the gap. I'd like to share what I've studied about vitamins the last 17 years. And if you look down at the bottom, not the article about pizza, but the vitamin alert, labels that lie versus pills that deliver. There was a consumerlab.com group, a third-party group that pulled vitamins and supplements off the shelf to see if what they said was on the label was actually in the product. And this article from O Magazine back in 2004 is one of the best explanations, I think, of how little regulation there is on the whole vitamin and supplement industry. It explained just outright that anything can go in a bottle and on a label, and you have no idea. So I urge you to truly do the research. Ask for research on anything before you put it in your body, and make sure that it's third-party research. It's something that's been tested at an institution or a university. You really do want to know what you're putting in your body before you do. I know when I started asking when I was pregnant about research on prenatals, they couldn't provide anything. And I'm looking at the ingredients and seeing hydrogenated oil and all these chemicals and food dye in what I'm supposed to be putting in my body to nourish me to build another life. It blew my mind. There were actually in this study prenatals that didn't have the folic acid that it said it would have on the label. There were gummy vitamins for kids that had lead. Only a handful of products passed for actually being what they said they were on the label. The other thing is what medical science is showing today in studies on vitamin supplementation. And this article is saying vitamins get an F in cancer prevention. Vitamin C and E did not prevent prostate cancer or cancer in general. Vitamin E and selenium did not prevent prostate cancer, and the vitamin E actually increased the prostate cancer risk, and the selenium raised the risk of diabetes. You go down the list and it tells the same story. Vitamin C and E did not prevent heart disease in men, and the vitamin E increased the stroke risk. There was actually a study in Finland done on physicians. It was to be a 10-year study that was stopped after 8 years because the placebo group was outliving the group getting the megadosed isolated vitamins. And that is a little frightening. But again, you can't fool Mother Nature. And that message was being shared over 20 years ago in this Newsweek article. And it makes me crazy mad that we don't hear more about it today. That actually, we don't have a vitamin deficiency in America, we have a whole food deficiency. And there is something better than vitamins, and it's called phytochemicals and antioxidants, and they're found in whole food, in synergy with every other nutrient that's in it. In fact, one piece of produce has over 10,000 phytochemicals. Some pieces of produce they are finding now have closer to 25,000. This list on this page is just 400 of the nutrients that have been named and found in an apple. For an apple to actually have a label, it would have to be a book 25 pages long with a list of nutrients like this. There is no comparison to that and how your body synergistically knows how to use every single nutrient in the apple compared to what they have figured out how to make in a laboratory and put in a multivitamin. So how do you encourage your family to eat better foods? I know hopefully now you understand the why, but the how is a whole nother story. These are some of the things that have worked for me. First of all, shaping young tastes. My oldest was who I was able to keep with the cleanest, purest diet for the longest, and she is by far my best eater. Then she was in school and exposed to things that then her younger siblings were. So they were exposed to things younger and not quite as palatable as my oldest. So shaping young tastes is huge. Be persistent with new foods. There is a true rule of 15 that you have to try something 15 times before your taste buds develop a taste of preference for that food. Easy access is key. The mason jar salads you see on the right-hand side are a super fun way. You can host a mason jar salad party with friends. Definitely talk to the person who invited you on the line tonight. And with that, everyone brings their favorite greens and salad dressing and one topping, and you end up with a buffet of toppings that everyone can leave with 5 or 6 salads and mason jars that last for the week. So that's one tip for easy access. The other thing is be strategic with timing, and that has to do with easy access too. If you know you're most hungry when you're leaving work or school, then keep some raw almonds in the car, pack some carrot sticks or grab an apple. I tease people that those were truly the original fast food. It is faster to rinse an apple and have a handful of almonds than it is to go through a drive-through, but it's just that shift in thinking. You can also puree and hide fruits and vegetables. There is truth to what Dr. Sears calls metabolic programming, where when you get the good food in, your body starts to crave it more. So however you can get it into your diet, it is beneficial. I know for my family, we just love the ease, the convenience, and the concept of smoothies. We do them every morning in the blender for breakfast. The picture on the bottom right, I love to throw chia seeds and spinach and blueberries in with almond milk, and that is our breakfast every day. And you can throw all kinds of stuff in a blender and blend up in a smoothie. You can also puree fruits and vegetables in sauces and soups and other things too. And the last thing is just to involve your kids. Take them to the grocery store, let them pick out a fruit or vegetable that they've never tried. Let them come home and be a part of preparing it, cutting it, cooking it. They'll be more likely to eat it. And secondly, science has proven that what kids grow themselves, they're more likely to eat as well. We, with all of our moves, we've lived in 6 different houses in our 18 years of marriage in 4 different cities. Having a garden was not feasible until I was introduced to the Tower Garden by Juice Plus. The Tower Garden is an aeroponic garden, and we actually have 3 of them now. Each one grows 20 plants. You see in the picture on the left, they have little pods, and it's soil free, it's weeding free. They actually are just little pods of rock wool, and you put that in the little holes and the roots go down the center. The base is full of water and the mineral nutrients, and it's on a timer. So it actually, there's a pump and the water comes up through the center and drips down over the roots. It waters itself. It is so easy. We have 2 outside and 1 inside with grow lights that we do year round, and they produce 30% more than a conventional garden. And the nutritional value is amazing because it's getting every nutrient that it needs, not what's depleted in soil, but actually every nutrient that is known to produce the plant. Less time in maintenance. I can go from seedling to harvesting lettuces in 3 to 4 weeks. It uses 10% of the water, and then because it's vertical, only 10% of the land of a conventional garden. This has been an amazing way for my family to fix our own salads, to go cut our own kale to put in smoothies. And the more that my kids see where food comes from, it's been a wonderful experiment and learning process for us too. So good nutrition and prevention really does begin with fruits and vegetables. That is the premise to your entire health picture. But with that, I know there's still maybe some that say, okay, but how still? Because the suggestions I gave may not work in your household. I would be remiss not to mention the resource that came into my life 18 years ago and that I said no to for a year. But 17 years ago, my husband and I started taking Juice Plus. Absolutely changed our health picture, and it is the easiest, best one simple change I can recommend to you on the line. It is truly these 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries that have been juiced, and at low temperatures, the water, sugar, and salt's removed. And you end up with concentrated fruit and vegetable powders that are put into capsules like you see in this picture, or into a gummy form. They're not like a traditional vitamin. It actually contains all the thousands of phytonutrients that are naturally found in the fruits, vegetables, and berries themselves. It's the largest selling whole food-based product in the world. It is truly whole food. When we lived in Florida, there's no food tax in Florida, and there was no tax on Juice Plus. The label says nutrition facts like a food label, not supplement facts like a vitamin label. It is not a vitamin. It is truly concentrated food. It's super clean. It's gluten-free, dairy-free, kosher. There's third-party certification. It even has the NSF sports certification that an Olympic athlete would need to prove there's nothing harmful in it. But the reason I like to share Juice Plus, for one, it's such a great resource for families, but also the research on Juice Plus to me is the most compelling argument that I can make to encourage you to increase your fruit and vegetable intake. There are now over 35 published medical studies on Juice Plus. It is the most researched nutritional product in the world. And you see the list of universities and institutions around the world in this list. You are definitely known by the company you keep. Some amazing institutions have studied the effects of Juice Plus on the human body. Here is what it's proven to do. We know that it's helping the cardiovascular system. It's reducing systemic inflammation. There have been studies done on ovarian cancer survivors at MD Anderson. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Very exciting studies done on children in Jacksonville, Florida, at Nemours Children's Clinic, showing actual pre-diabetic boys and the reduced insulin resistance in those overweight boys. The other thing, just by adding the Juice Plus capsules, they also had a reduction in the adiposity, which is the abdominal fat mass. And clearly, we want to have kids being active and exercising and doing other things. But to know that these boys who are headed for a life of disease can actually reverse that just by adding Juice Plus capsules as a foundation is really powerful. Supporting lung health, even in smokers, so they have higher levels of oxidative stress. There have been studies done on the skin and gums. Immune health, that is absolutely what I experienced. I mentioned, I went from being on antibiotics 6 times a year to maybe 6 times in the last 17 years. It's been proven to help protect DNA. There are days I want to go to a mountaintop and shout out to the world that there is not a drug on the market that is proven to protect your DNA. But your God-given fruits and vegetables, specifically Juice Plus powders, are actually proven in medical research to help protect your DNA. It's proven to reduce oxidative stress, and not just in average people, but in super stressed law students in college, young people, old people, and athletes. It's been published. The journal on the bottom left, you see a part of it, Medicine and Science and Sports and Exercise. It's been published 3 times in that journal on athletes and reducing oxidative stress. And then it's absorbed by the body. So you know that what you're putting in is actually getting absorbed. I want to share 2 of the quick studies with you. This is my husband's favorite study. It was done at the University of Maryland. It was published in the Journal of American College of Cardiology, which is the most prominent cardiovascular journal in the world. And they were showing the benefit of Juice Plus after a high-fat meal. They know that most heart attacks occur after a high-fat meal. If someone presents to the ER with heart attack symptoms and they journal what they've eaten, typically they've had something high-fat. The blood vessels are going to constrict 50%, but they still have all the same blood needing to flow through. You see in this bar graph, the light blue line. So the participants had 52 grams of fat. It was 2 breakfast sandwiches and 2 hash browns. They went then and had the constriction in their brachial artery in the arm tested. And you see in that light blue line between 40 and 50% constriction in all 3 groups. There was a placebo group. There was a group consuming the 20 fruits and vegetables that are in the red and green, the orchard and garden. And then there was a group consuming all 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries that are in the orchard, garden, and vineyard blend. They went back 21 days after being on the capsules, had the same high-fat meal, and you see the green line, there's over a 50% improvement in the constriction of the arteries. But the amazing thing was just after 1 more week of the added nutrition, on day 28, they went back, had the same high-fat meal, and there was less than 2% constriction. The article in JACC stated that it practically negated the effect of the high-fat meal altogether. It also showed repair to the endothelial lining. So many benefits cardiovascularly of how this can actually protect your body even when you are splurging and enjoying yourself a little. And then the study done at MD Anderson, I think this shows truly how Juice Plus is bridging the gap. This was done on ovarian cancer survivors. It's one of the few studies that actually was not a placebo study. Ethically, they did not want these women to not be consuming fruits and vegetables. So one group of women were eating 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, which was a real struggle, but they did comply. I mean, that was a big thing. Those women, when they were put in the study, they had to comply with that. The other group were consuming 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, plus taking the Juice Plus capsules and the Juice Plus Complete Shake Mix. Ovarian cancer typically has over a 70% recurrence, but in this study, they saw both groups had less than 30%, and the Juice Plus group was closer to 20%. The Juice Plus group also showed better protein status markers and better immune function. And so it really does show how it is bridging the gap between what we are eating and what we should be eating. The shake mix used at MD Anderson is what we use in our smoothies every morning. We absolutely love it. It is all plant-based. It's 13 grams of very clean, low-processed plant protein, 8 grams of fiber. That is very unique. You don't typically get a, quote, shake mix or protein powder that has this much fiber, but it's because of what's in it. It has Jerusalem artichokes and alfalfa sprouts and radish sprouts and things that you're not typically going to get in your daily diet. The glycemic index, I have so many diabetics that this shake mix rocks their world as far as their blood sugar levels, because it actually has a lower glycemic index than broccoli, and it's only $2 a serving. So we actually add a little bit of almond milk to it and stir it up and make it like pudding. We shake it up with almond milk or water or juice or whatever you'd like and have just something quick on the go. And then we also, as I mentioned, add it to our smoothies with frozen fruit or spinach or things like that in the blender. So it is a wonderful snack or meal replacement that is just loaded with good nutrition. And then the last thing on the research front that I want to share is the Juice Plus Children's Health Study. And this is our Kids Eat Free program. It's amazing what this company has been gifting families with now for over 14 years in over 10 countries. There are over 250,000 families enrolled in this study. It's a questionnaire-based study, but the concept is with an adult taking at least the Orchard and Garden capsules or gummies, the child between the ages of 4 through undergraduate college students can get Juice Plus free for up to 4 years. The reports back are showing that they're eating more fruits and vegetables and they have fewer doctor visits, less days missed of school or work for the parents. They're taking fewer prescription and over-counter medicine, and all of them are reporting just different positive benefits with their health. And if all the medical research doesn't mean anything to you, but Oprah does, I do want to share that from that Oprah magazine article, the consumerlab.com group, that randomly plucked different vitamins off the shelves and analyzed them, Juice Plus was one of the handful and the only whole food one that passed for being exactly what it says it is on the label. This was important to me, that I could actually take something that was a whole food concept and concentrate and make a difference in my health. And it's something Thomas Edison said years ago: the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. And Hippocrates said just a few years before that, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And he wasn't talking about Dunkin' Donuts or chicken nuggets, but actual real food. I want to remind you that what I've shared tonight with you is truly my journey the last 17 and a half years, and that you want to take baby steps. Everything that I shared with you, I gradually did over time. It started with the one simple change of adding Juice Plus. That was a catalyst for me. It gave me the improved health, the energy, so many things that made it easier then to start making more simple changes around these 4 core areas of health: eating more whole foods, cleaning up our diets, drinking more water, the sleep and the exercise that I try to focus on as well. If anyone's interested in getting Juice Plus for themselves or their families, I do want to share quickly how you can do that. We actually have an entire healthy living revolution that is kicking off. And these are the 3 different ways that you can get started. There's the basic package. If you just want to start with the Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard capsules or gummies, that will run around $2.50 a day. So for only $2.50, you can get 30 different fruits and vegetables in your diet every single day, and then a child can get it free. The standard package would be the capsules or gummies with the shake mix. The shake mix is $2 a shake, and it ships in 60 servings. So I love just to pay in full for that. And then when I need more, I order more. The capsules, I really do and have done the monthly installment for 18 years. And then the premium package is with the bars too. We do have an on-the-go bar in a cherry flavor and then a dark chocolate fig. So that's another option if you're looking for healthy nutrition on the go. Those are kind of the 3 different ways that you can get started with Juice Plus. I want to encourage you to track your progress from tonight, to focus each day on what you've accomplished that does feed your body in a healthy way, and congratulate yourself for each good decision that you are making. I'm a big believer in positive thinking. If you focus too much on the handful of M&Ms that you had when you walked by someone's desk at work, you're going to do more of that poor behavior actually than if you focus on the extra apple that you're going to eat each day and doing more of that each day forward. Our mission is to inspire healthy living around the world. That happens one person at a time, we believe, and one household at a time. And I thank you so much for taking the time tonight to be with me, to learn more about how you can eat well and live well. There is a Q&A feature. If you're new to Zoom, you are welcome to type. If you scroll your cursor along the top or the bottom, you can see actually the Q&A, and feel free to type any questions on there. I would be very happy to stay on now and answer any questions that you may have from the presentation this evening. And otherwise, you can talk to the person who invited you to join. Thanks again for being on, and I will stay on and be available for a few minutes. I know it looks like someone's asking about the Tower Garden. You can definitely talk to the person who invited you on the line tonight. They can help you get that ordered, or you can order online. You can find out more information online too, towergarden.com. But there's little videos. You can see exactly how the plants grow, and they even have a progression of time, so you can see how fast things grow with that as well. But it's just been a super fun, easy way. I am far from a green thumb, and it's been a great way for my family to grow our own food. And it really does. It's about $45, $50 a month, depending on what accessories you want to add to that. And it truly did pay for itself that first year. I feel like the Tower Garden, I saved more than that in produce the very first year of growing. And then each additional year, the only thing you need to spend money on is your Tower Tonic, the mineral tonic, which is about $30 maybe for the gallons. So really, you're getting free produce for life with it. So. And then someone asked about the Juice Plus. That does ship directly to you. Again, you can order online or talk to who invited you on the line tonight. And they can definitely help you with that. We recommend the Orchard Garden and Vineyard, which I mentioned. It's about $250 a day. It's $75 a month. You can talk to the person who invited you on tonight. Whatever your budget needs are or your family's needs for your health goals, they can design a program that will match that too. Someone asked if the Juice Plus is organic. That is something that everything is farmed and it's manufactured with organic standings, but not every farm that is growing all the Juice Plus products has that organic certification yet. But everything is tested 3 times for any yeast, mold, bacteria, any contaminants, pesticides, herbicides. So it is clean. In fact, in some ways, I say it's even better than organic because it's something that you don't have to worry about something having blown over from the field next door. Everything is tested for that. So at the farm that it's clean of any, stimulants or any pesticides or things. And then it's tested again in the powder form where it's blended and encapsulated too. So yes, it is organic farming practice, but some of the fields are still within that 7 years of their organic certification. I think that wraps up the questions that people have had so far. If there's anything else, I will stay on another minute or so, but please feel free to drop off anytime. And thank you again for joining us tonight.